All right, today we're tackling 3V0-22.25 Advanced VMware Cloud Foundation 9.0 operation. So that's 60 questions, 135 minutes, and you need 65% to pass. Let's just dive right into it. First question puts us directly in the admin seat. You need to find a VM property change from like the past 7 days using the Troubleshooting Workbench.
Okay, so what are our options for that?
We've got A, change the time range to the last 7 days. B, stitch together multiple custom ranges because of a 24-hour limit. C, just rely on the workbench automatically capturing it. Or D, select last week. Which way are you leaning here?
Well, my immediate thought goes to C, right? It's an advanced enterprise tool, so you'd assume it just automatically captures and shows you a full week's worth of data by default. It's that classic automation bias, you know. We just stare at the default screen, assuming what we need is already there.
Yeah, that's exactly the trap. Or people fall for B, thinking there's some strict 24-hour limit they have to work around. But the answer is actually A. You have to manually change that parameter to the last 7 days.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's no limit. You just have to explicitly ask for it. It's kind of like pulling security footage for a building. You have to explicitly request those 7-day tapes. The security monitors aren't just going to loop a week's worth of video by default for you.
Exactly. You have to be explicit, which, perfectly bridges us to question 2, because that need for explicit instruction applies to data boundaries as well. So you install a new VCF Operations Management Pack Federation instance, and you need to add metrics to it.
All right, let's hear the options.
We've got A, edit the policy. B, create a federation_config file. C, just select the metrics in the UI. Or D, tag the resources. Honestly, my GUI bias is screaming C. Just give me some easy checkboxes in the interface.
Yeah, I get that entirely. We all want that simple UI toggle, but UI edits or tagging won't actually work here. The correct answer is B. You have to generate a custom federation_config file.
Wait, really? A custom config file instead of just using the clean interface?
Yeah, think of it like setting up a strict customs border. You need an official paper manifest, which is that federation_config file, to legally ingest data across the boundary. You can't just verbally tell the border guard what to allow. The standard UI simply doesn't have the authority to bypass that federation boundary.
Right. Okay, so custom files protect our data boundaries. So what about our visual boundaries? Question 3. Let's say I want to add a cost metric to the out-of-the-box live heavy hitters dashboard. Options are A, change dashboard ownership. B and C involve editing it directly. D is export and modify. And E is clone the dashboard and add the metric.
Well, a lot of admins will go straight for B or C, falling for that direct action bias. They try to edit it directly or just change ownership to force write access.
But the system shuts that down, right? The actual answer is E. You have to clone it first and then add your metric to that clone.
Exactly. You can't paint a mustache on the Mona Lisa. You have to paint it on a replica. Cloning protects the original visual state so that the baseline is always there if you need to revert, because those default system dashboards are strictly read-only templates.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So protecting visual state is one thing, but how do we handle operational state during an upgrade? Let's hit question 4. A fleet management vertical scale-up workflow stalls on needs attention because of outdated inventory.
Oh, that is a stressful scenario in the real world.
Definitely. So the options are A, take snapshots, B, perform an inventory sync, C, take the cluster offline, or D, scale up the proxies. My safety first bias is just screaming A, take snapshots to secure everything before proceeding.
Right, and taking a snapshot is definitely safe, but it's really just taking a photograph of a problem. It won't actually fix the data mismatch that halted the upgrade in the first place, and neither will scaling up proxies. The only real way forward is B, perform an inventory sync.
Because the sync actually forces the platform to update the list, aligning the real-time state so the automated logic can finally proceed.
Exactly. Fixing those mismatches requires specific platform syncs. You have to update the actual data.
And speaking of specific platform architecture, let's look at question 5. Which VCF core domain component's root account cannot be modified directly in the VCF Ops UI? Is it A, SDDC Manager, B, vCenter, C, NSX, or D, ESX?
Oh, this is a tricky one. vCenter is basically the heart of the environment, so it's heavily protected. I'd almost assume you can't just change this root account from the standard Ops UI.
See, I thought that too, but it's actually A, the SDDC Manager. Oh, wait, right. Because vCenter, NSX, and ESX are all operational components designed with open integration endpoints for day-to-day management. But the SDDC manager is the lifecycle engine that builds those components.
Exactly. You can't reset the boss's password through the standard employee portal. You need the executive HR system, or in this case, internal APIs, to avoid a massive circular dependency.
That is such a great way to look at it.
All right, that closes the book on the exam questions. Let's zoom out and map out exactly what we've covered today.
Sounds good. First, we covered troubleshooting workbench time range configuration, learning that you really have to manually specify those search windows to hunt down historical anomalies.
Yep. Then we examined aggregator management pack customization and why strict boundaries require custom config files instead of just relying on UI toggles.
We also discussed VCF Operations dashboard customization, which completely relies on cloning templates to protect default views.
After that, we looked at fleet management vertical scale-up, emphasizing how real-time inventory syncs are what actually unblock stalled automation.
And finally, we hit on VCF domain component account management, highlighting why the SDTC manager's lifecycle role isolates it from standard UI password changes.
It really leaves you wondering, if automated cloud operations require such strict manual guardrails like custom config files, cloned read-only templates, and isolated lifecycle engines, at what point does managing the automation become just as complex as the manual tasks it replaces?